You ever sit there thinking, why is it that when I treat her well, show up on time, compliment her, even go out of my way to be there for her, she doesn't seem to care? Like the more respectful you are, the more invisible you become. And then you see her chasing after the guy who barely texts back, who forgets her birthday, and somehow she's hooked. Let's be real. It's frustrating. It makes you question everything. You start thinking, do women even want a good guy? And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Because there's a reason, a real reason women ignore so-called nice guys. And once you understand it, you'll never feel stuck or confused about it again. Here's the thing. Most guys who call themselves nice aren't actually being nice. They're being pleasing. There's a huge difference. Being genuinely kind comes from confidence. Pleasing, on the other hand, comes from fear. It's the energy of I hope she likes me instead of I like myself, and I'd like to share that with her. It's subtle, but women pick up on that instantly. Imagine this. You meet a woman and she's got this sparkle, right? She's smart, she's fun, she's got that vibe. You're drawn in, and you start texting her constantly. You respond within seconds. You say yes to everything she wants. You don't challenge her opinions. You agree with her even when you disagree. You cancel your plans just to see her. Sounds like the ideal gentleman, right? But what she feels, deep down, is not admiration. It's a lack of polarity. She doesn't feel that magnetic tension. Why? Because there's no edge, no backbone, no sense that you stand for something. And here's the part most guys miss. Women aren't attracted to perfection. They're drawn to presence, to a man who stands grounded in who he is, who respects himself first. When a guy becomes overly available, he's signaling that he has no direction outside of her, that she is the center of his universe, and he's waiting for her to validate him. And even if she doesn't consciously realize it, she loses interest. Because the moment she feels like she's being put on a pedestal, the dynamic flips. It's no longer exciting. There's no mystery, no chase, just comfort, and not the good kind. Women are biologically wired to be drawn to strength, not brute force, not arrogance, but grounded strength, emotional self-sufficiency, purpose, presence. That's what really turns the dial. Now don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean being a jerk. It's not about being cold or distant or playing some weird game. The bad boy thing only works because those guys accidentally display traits that nice guys suppress, like assertiveness, unpredictability, and self-prioritization. But you can absolutely be kind, emotionally intelligent, and still wildly attractive if you lead with integrity instead of insecurity. Let's talk about what you should be doing instead. Because once you make the shift, everything changes. First off, stop trying to prove your worth. You don't need to impress her by over-giving or over-explaining. Just be you, fully, unapologetically. Have a life that's rich and full before she enters the picture. Build a vision for yourself, whether it's your career, your fitness, your mindset. That energy, it's magnetic. When you approach her, approach from a place of abundance. Not, I hope she picks me, but let's see if there's a connection. It's subtle, but it changes your entire vibe. You speak differently. You carry yourself differently. And she feels it. Here's a truth most guys don't want to hear. Attraction is not created through kindness alone. It's created through contrast. She needs to feel that you're willing to say no when something doesn't sit right with you. That you're willing to walk away if your values don't align. That you're not afraid of losing her. Because you're not trying to keep her. You're just being real. When a woman senses that you're grounded in your own frame, she relaxes. She feels safe. Not in the, he'll do whatever I want kind of way, but in the, he knows who he is, and I respect that kind of way. And that's the key. Respect precedes attraction. Without it, you're just the guy who listens to her talk about the other guy she's actually into. Let me give you an example. Imagine two guys approach her at a party. One walks up with a drink in hand, smiles, makes eye contact, and asks her a bold, playful question. The other guy walks up nervously, compliments her hair, and immediately offers to buy her a drink. Who do you think makes her heart race? It's not about looks. It's about presence and energy. Now, I'm not saying don't be polite, but don't mistake politeness for passivity. Don't be so agreeable that you become forgettable. Share your opinions. Tease her playfully. Push back with confidence when you disagree. Let her see that spark in you. Because what women crave isn't a man who bows to them. It's a man who meets them, eye to eye, energy to energy. Someone she can respect, admire, and feel safe surrendering to. Not because he demands it, but because he earns it through how he shows up in the world. And I know some of you are thinking, but I don't want to be fake. That's just not me. Good. I'm not asking you to fake anything. In fact, this is the most real version of you. The part that's been buried under fear of rejection, fear of rocking the boat, fear of being too much. Let that part breathe. Start showing up as the man you are when no one's watching. The man with fire in his belly, purpose in his step, and peace in his heart. That guy, that's the guy who naturally attracts women. Not by chasing, not by convincing, but by being. So the next time you're tempted to over-explain, over-give, or over-accommodate, pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this from confidence or from fear? Am I being kind or am I being nice at the expense of my own self-respect? Women don't ignore nice guys because they hate kindness. They ignore them because what they're often sensing is emotional neediness dressed up as virtue. Flip that script. Be kind because it's who you are, not because you want something in return. Show interest, but never at the expense of your own identity. Lead with purpose, speak with intention, and trust that the right woman will feel you, not because you chased her, but because you stood still and let her come to you. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be respected, desired, remembered. And that begins the moment you stop asking for permission and start showing up as your whole, imperfect, powerful self. If this resonated with you, you're already on the path. Keep going. The real ones will notice.